Yeah, we did play that. That's pretty good. It
Oh,
was a little high pitched. I feel like for Mario. I feel
well,
like
that's
you could do better.
no. I really don't think I could. Now that you've challenged me to do better, I will now do worse every subsequent attempt. What is the story of Super Mario Galaxy, Jake? Also, I mean, hello everyone. Welcome back to the Backlog Club. You know that already. We're like 12 episodes deep at this point.
Episode 11.
Oh, it's close.
Yeah,
That was a random number I pulled out.
I figured that out when I was getting ready to leave. I was like, "What episode is it?"
There you go.
Episode 11, because we'll have 12 episodes, 4 games for 3 months, and then 13th will be the ranking of the year.
Mm-hmm.
So this would be 11.
Sick, dude.
Math.
Episode 11, Super Mario Galaxy.
I'll tackle the synopsis this time. I feel like you've been doing it the past few episodes.
Go for it. Yeah, it's hard, isn't it?
So,
it's hard.
Mario and Peach
Bing, bing, wahoo.
they're celebrating something with fireworks and
Star Festival.
the Star Festival.
I have no idea if that's what it is.
I mean, you pulled that out of your butt. That's probably accurate because that's how easy it is to write a Mario story.
Let's look it up.
We could ask ChatGPT to write us a Mario story, and it would probably do a better job than Nintendo would.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, Nintendo doesn't really have to write a story. They can just kind of vaguely hint at things being there, and people will be like, "Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow, the story was so good."
And
I'm like, "What happened? I just played was the story me playing the game?"
The fan theories will make large reaches.
Oh yeah, the r/Nintendo subreddit will just be popping off.
But they're having a festival of sorts at night, so it definitely has to do with stars. And Bowser, wait for it, comes and ruins whatever they're doing, and decides to lift up Peach's castle. What is Peach? Is it just the mushroom? The Mushroom Kingdom is like
it's Peach's
area.
Castle.
It's Peach's castle. Okay, takes the castle, makes tons of sense, and goes off into space. And we don't really. I don't even remember how Mario gets into space himself.
The Centennial Star Festival.
Mario ends up in space trying to get Princess Peach, and Rosalina's like, "Yo, I got you."
Oh, Kamek launches him into space.
Oh, okay. And she's like, "Just get me 60 power stars, and I'll get you to the special one," as she kept
the
calling.
center of the universe.
Yeah.
We must get you to your special one.
Then, spoiler alert, nothing really happens for 60 stars story-wise. And
you do some swimming, you do some jumping, you do some spinning.
And then you
do
end
a bing bing and a wahoo.
Going to the castle in the space, and then Bowser ends all of humanity, and Rosalina...
Not all of humanity, all of existence. You and Bowser both screw this up so badly. You end all of existence.
And Rosalina's like, "Let's start over." And everybody is like, well, Peach, Bowser, and Mario are like, "What? Where are we? We're in the festival again."
This is what I was talking about earlier, all right? This is what I was going to tell you. But then I was like, I'll save it for when we're recording. Okay, so apparently every once in a while, and this is what I learned because I was confused about the ending, and I also wanted to know what the 120-star ending was.
I don't know what there was to be confused about.
Okay, I wanted someone to just write out in no uncertain terms what I had seen on the screen and if I interpreted it correctly. Every insert amount of time here, the Lumas, the universe kind of collapses, or a black hole opens and the Lumas fly in and reset the universe, albeit very differently every single time.
Yeah.
So what happened at the end of the game is Mario and Bowser, like I said, screwed up so colossally that basically they had to press the emergency reset button, and all the Lumas had to go, "Hey, I'm gonna do a flip," and just fly and reset the universe, leaving only Mario and Rosalina with the memories of what happened before.
But
So then Super Mario Galaxy 2, spoilers, is apparently the same exact game with slight alterations, like I said before. But Rosalina changed Bowser's plan so that instead of trying to take over the galaxy, he just kidnaps Princess Peach. So basically,
Super Mario Galaxy 2 Multiverse of Madness.
Not even a multiverse. It's the universe has been reset. Please do it properly this time.
Okay, so it was Super Mario Galaxy Secret Wars.
Exactly.
Okay.
Super Mario Galaxy Endgame.
Here is my interpretation of the game. I forgot I wrote down a note.
What version of the game did you play?
Well, you had to look up to understand what happened. This is what I wrote down. This was my thoughts at the end of the game at like 1 or 2 in the morning. I have never been more confused by the end of a Mario game than this one. Bowser had an Icarus moment, and like a literal Icarus moment. He literally flew into the sun, not just too close. He went in it and somehow doesn't end up being Dry Bowser here, which was confusing on top of everything.
Does that happen in what game? Where he falls into
DS.
lava and he becomes Dry Bowser?
Yeah.
That
Super Mario Bros.
That's what I thought. I was like, wait, doesn't Bowser die in lava, or have they changed it to where he can kind of like hang out?
Dude, the Mario universe makes no sense.
There's no rules.
But
apparently when you can just reset.
Yeah, Bowser had an Icarus moment, and then the Lumas saved us from a black hole, but also the universe was reset, and Rosalina is God, question mark?
I don't know. She's a goddess to me.
Yeah. She is very gorgeous to me.
She is beautiful to me. Well, yeah, that's a question for you real quick, Jake.
Yeah.
Peach or Rosalina? I mean, Daisy's an option, but
I'm going to choose the Queen Bee.
You dirty dog. Yeah, that's funny.
Because I liked her quote. It's like the first or second level.
The standout power, the best power in the whole Mario franchise, Bee Mario. I love Bee Mario.
It was okay.
Yeah,
but
I know I'm being sarcastic.
Oh, okay.
I hate Bee Mario. I think it's stupid.
It's like you just
that noise that it makes.
I played this mostly in handheld, which that'll be a talking point later, but I don't really have the volume up very high, if at all, when I'm playing a handheld game.
Mm-hmm.
People will probably not like that I do that, but I don't know. Like, I didn't know the majority of the Pokemon music until like a couple years ago. And I've played those games so many times. But anyways, my favorite quote from the game was, "Who are you? A physician, I presume?" From the Queen Bee.
Yeah, that was bold on her part.
Little Dr. Mario joke.
Right.
Yeah.
Let me walk back my previous comments. I didn't hate Bee Mario, but like out of all the power-ups, that's the one I've remembered the most and the one I probably am the most underwhelmed by.
Yeah. A lot of the power-ups in this game were very underwhelming or just frustrating to use. Like, I really did not like the spring
Oh my
thing.
gosh, that was my favorite one.
Really? Dude, I did not like it just because I could never get it to do the spring. I couldn't get the timing right.
You just press it as he hits the ground.
I know, but I'm doing it. I felt like I was accurate on the timing, and it's like, no, I'm gonna do a little baby hop. I'm gonna do a baby hop. I'm gonna do a baby hop.
I don't know, man.
Everything about this game control-wise was just so frustrating.
I agree with you in that aspect in certain ways, because when you're playing on a flat plane, it's totally fine. It's like a 3D Mario game.
Yeah.
It's like 64 or Sunshine with like, the refined controls, the long jump, you can do the backwards flip thing, the crouch backflip jump. Yep. You can do all the classic 3D Mario stuff. Wall jump, it's all there. When it doesn't work is when you're on a sphere or like on one of those discs and you go to change directions and Mario just decides that this is the right time to run in a circle
Yep.
for no reason. And it's something that persists in the 3D All-Stars version of this game and is the main reason why as a kid I never finished it because it was so frustrating. I couldn't play the game.
Yeah.
And then all of the motion control segments are bad. They're bad. I don't like them. Like you remember the planet in the beginning where you're on the manta ray and you're like ray surfing?
Yes.
Yeah. So you have to do that with motion controls.
Yep. Even in handheld mode.
Even in handheld mode, which handheld mode is another thing entirely. I hate that. I hate having to tap the screen.
Yep.
That was bad, which is why I switched to just using the Joy-Cons and other things. I like that there's a button you can use for the spin because I also remember trying to spin and shaking the thing. Sometimes it would register at the wrong time if you moved or something. But motion controls are bad.
Yes.
Being forced to use motion controls instead of regular joystick inputs in any game, I think is an egregious sin.
Yeah.
And I hate it.
See, I will defend it. I don't think it's good, but just because it was a Wii game, they didn't have a second stick. They barely had one. I can understand that you need motion controls or the touchscreen. I think the touchscreen was the better way to go, and that's why I kept doing it. But the gyro controls, the replacement of gyro was okay, but having like an actual pointer like the Wii where you can actually visualize where you're pointing instead of like with the gyro controls, you can keep going all the way over here and it's going to stay on the edge of the screen. And once you start to go back, it's just wherever you like went to go. I'm not doing a good job of explaining this.
Are you saying that it carries over on the edge of the screen if you're going left, but then as soon as you go right, it starts going right from the point that you started going
so you
right.
can be pointing
so
to
the
your
center,
left
instead of being here, is now over here. Right. I think if you press the R button, it resets.
Yeah, but it's like, how many times do I have to spam the R button?
This is very true. Because I played a little bit in handheld mode. I think I got like 9 stars in handheld mode while I was on a trip and went, I can't do this. This is frustrating me. It was the manta ray level specifically.
Yeah.
It was like, I can't.
That was very hard.
Turn. Because you go to make a slight adjustment, but then then it won't turn. And then all of a sudden you go to turn it more. And then he's doing like a 90-degree Batman grappling hook out the Batmobile doing a little swing around the light pole kind of turn. You know what I'm talking about. Like, ridiculous. And gosh, so frustrating.
Yeah.
I lost so many lives on that level that I didn't need to lose just because he was go whoop.
See,
So why are there no walls on that level? Why?
Because it's one of the challenge levels. That's why.
But it's in the first set of galaxies.
Yeah, but you don't have to do it as optional. I mean, technically, like every level is optional.
No, you have to do them. You have to do them.
Yeah.
You have to.
But
you're not a real Mario fan if you don't do everything. Everyone knows that.
I got 62 stars, including Bowser's, the final level star. And I just pretty much, up until the last world, I don't know if you call it world, not the kitchen one, but after that.
The toy.
Yeah. Well,
that one was my favorite.
That whole, not just like the group of galaxies, which doesn't make sense to me. I feel like
no, that's a galaxy because those are planets.
The room you get into, because each individual like planet is called the galaxy.
Room. The engine room.
There you go. Why is that not galaxy? Because like they shouldn't be rooms; it should be galaxy. I know you go into a room, but
it's a new observatory.
Okay, but still, it's like a group of planets is a galaxy. Am I not wrong? So it's like, why is this one planet a galaxy?
A group of systems is a galaxy. Because a group of planets is a system. Like we live in the solar system.
Yeah, but
so then that's in the Milky Way galaxy.
Yeah, but in this Mario universe, they're essentially saying that like Earth galaxy and Mars galaxy.
Yeah, the gold leaf galaxy, or
because they're all like one planet.
Yeah, here's what here's what you got to remember: Mario doesn't make any sense.
I know, and I'm complaining about it, but I did like every single star for each galaxy up until that last room, and I was just like, I wanted to try as many of the levels as possible, and I enjoyed a fair bit of them. The kitchen room was the worst.
Didn't even do that one.
Really, you didn't do
I had so
the
many.
boo one,
No, I did. Oh,
the one with the
oh,
boo.
the kitchen. Oh, the kitchen
Yes.
observatory. Yes, I did do that one. I thought you meant like
Mm.
the Gold Leaf Galaxy at the end.
I did at least one or two levels from each of that observatory, but
I did literally as many as I needed to get to 60.
yeah.
I didn't even do the boss fight, like the Bowser's or the
Oh,
Bowser
really?
Jr. reactor, because I didn't need to. Because
Yeah.
I'd done a few Daredevil or the few of the comets.
I did some of those too, but I never found any of the hidden ones, and
I found a couple.
that's like I did find like one or two, but I didn't like actively search them out because I know it would have probably gone a lot faster. I lost my train of thought. I
You're
keep
talking about the
going.
the kitchen.
Yeah, I just didn't like that one at all. That was the worst one.
Mm-hmm.
Going through any of the Boo Haunted Mansion stuff. I never liked the Boo levels in any of the games.
They scare you?
Yeah. Huh.
I did not like the dark matter. Well, actually, no, that was a hidden star I got. The dark matter splatter mansion, where like the floor is disappearing as you're going through.
Yeah.
Like you have the little circles that you have to stay within,
Yep.
and then the boo's also chasing you.
I did do that one.
That one I almost failed because at the very end where you have to like wall jump up to the last like
Mm-hmm.
floor, I did it a little too early, and the thing hadn't risen up yet.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I say risen up, okay, real quick side tangent, and the first thing my brain thinks is, oh, he rizzed him up, and I'm like, gosh, I hate the internet.
Are you risen up the boos?
Yeah, I was risen up the boo. That's why they're
Risen up
going
your
like.
boo.
That's why they're going like this when I look at him, because Mario's just like oozing riz. Gosh, I hate the internet. But no, so I wall jump up to the top platform, and the floor hadn't shown up yet,
Yeah.
and so then I fall straight down, and I go, oh, and as that happens, the floor is about to disappear. So I had that slight moment of panic where I'm like, I have to go now.
I don't want to do this over again.
Yeah, I was like, I really don't want to do this level over again. I had already died a couple times.
Yeah.
Which dying in this game really wasn't a huge deal.
No.
I ended up with like 80 something lives at the end.
Yeah, I think I had 60, something like that.
Dude, I would throw away lives at levels. I'm like, I'm just going to do it until I get it.
Yeah.
Like a couple secret stars, especially like in the last like Penguin Galaxy where you're racing the shark.
Mm-hmm.
And you do the other like the Cosmic Mario race
Yeah.
underwater and stuff.
I like that one.
Yeah, that was a cool level, and that's where you're B Mario and you got to like fly on the cloud.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, in that one there's a secret star with the Luma where like you have to run around the little globe that's the disappearing platforms,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to get all the notes, but you have to do it in a way where you can still like because they're gonna disappear, so then you got to run back around and like long jump and do the spin in order to get to all the notes.
Mm-hmm.
I think I probably wasted 5 or 6, no, probably like 6 to 10 lives on that. I just kept throwing them away. At 75, I was like, we're just gonna go because I want this star now. It's personal and it's like one of the last 2 I need.
See, there was like 1 or 2 of those at least that I played. There's probably more, but I nailed those both first try, no problem for me. But the ones that I struggled on, the Beach Bowl Galaxy. I wrote that name down specifically because I don't remember half of the names of characters and stuff like that in games. That was the one where you went underwater, like deep underwater, and you had to collect the star bit pieces to get launched up into this thwomp area. I think it was like the biggest water level. There's penguins everywhere. You should just look it up while I'm explaining it.
Okay.
Not only is the swimming terrible in this game,
That too.
it is so bad, But on top of that, with the stupid physics that we went over earlier, with the spinning around in circles, I would
Oh,
swim around in a circle. And I'm just trying to maneuver this water in the terrible swimming. Like, swimming is always bad in Mario games. It was so much worse in this game. And I
that one.
could not stand it. Yes. And
Okay.
that is
Everything's
the
clear.
galaxy I'm talking about if you don't know.
Yeah, this
And
one. This is bad.
the second star, once you finally complete the first star, the second star, you go, maybe it's the third, I don't know. You get launched up into this thwomp area where the platforms move back and forth, and there's the cube that rolls, and there's only like one spot where you won't get smushed.
Oh yeah.
And that area, I think I lost. Well, I would always gain a life or even two because there were two 1-ups at least in that area. And I would always get the first one. Thankfully, those respawn with you. But I didn't end up losing any lives. I ended up gaining lives from that. But it took me countless attempts. Yes, countless
So everybody's
attempts.
clear. You can see that.
And it was hands down the most frustrating galaxy. That was the most frustrating star for me. I don't know why it was so hard for me because I ended up quitting whatever night I was working on it. And I came back the next day and got it first try. And I'm like, why was this so hard for me?
Probably your burnout, but also they
Yeah,
make them difficult. You know, I just don't like the spin.
me neither.
I don't like that. Like, there's a delay on it. I didn't like the recharge it had on it. Felt like it was a little bit too long sometimes.
Mhm.
Especially like if you missed an enemy during a boss fight and then you're like, oh God, I gotta hit him again. And then it would take too long. And then instead of spinning, you just get hit and then you lose your life.
Let me tell you about my absolute hatred for the spin. Why just why does it have delay? Like, why can I not just sit there and spam it? Like, I understand not just having like a helicopter of endless spins, but why does it take so long for you to let me spin again? Because there were so many times where I would go and I'm like, I have to spin at this enemy and I miss. And it's like, okay, well, now they're charging at me and my forward momentum is going towards them. And just because I missed, I'm spamming the button and oh, sorry, you can't spin for another like 3 to 5 business days. So you're going to lose your life. And on top of that, like Goombas, most basic Mario enemy, the Goomba. Why can I spin attack him and it doesn't hurt him? It just puts him on his head and we play dreidel dreidel until I kick him off of the earth.
I don't know. I kind of like that combo. I kind of like the kick. I like kicking them. I like hurting the Goombas.
Why can't it just be a Super Mario 64 kick?
That's true.
Why can't I just have another button that also does damage?
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, why would I even bother spin attacking a Goomba when I could just jump on his head? Because the Goombas are huge in this game. It is very easy to jump on a Goomba.
They're like, I've noticed in 3D Mario, the Goombas are bigger. Like in Odyssey, they were.
Yeah, they're pretty big there too.
They were quite large.
Mm-hmm.
You actually got to be a Goomba.
Yeah,
which was nice. But no, I agree. The spin, I get it.
Useless.
I get it if it was useless, except when you're forced to use it
in combat, I should say. But yeah,
you're forced to use it. I thought it was a neat idea. It's a great way to incorporate the Lumas into, like, or pair one with Mario so that he has a personal connection to them, even though like that kind of writing isn't in a Nintendo game.
Mm-hmm.
But all in all, yeah, useless aside in combat. It really was mainly useful in parkour.
Yeah.
Platforming. That's the word I'm looking for.
Platforming, yeah. The genre.
One mechanic I really thought was so precise that it was actually annoying was the little like web pod, the sling pod. So you'd stick to him and then you had to grab it and you had to pull on it, you had to pull back on it.
Oh, yeah.
And if you did not have that angle like precise,
You're
you could
missing.
literally miss it by like
Yep.
one of Mario's mustache hairs. And then you just go sailing off into the abyss. Like one of the Hungry Luma levels at the observatory. I think this was the final one or the second to last one.
Yeah.
I lost quite a few lives on that just because I was like ever so slightly off, and there's no way that I could like spin to then redirect my momentum.
Yeah.
Because gravity in this game is frustrating.
Not good.
And like you don't know when exactly it's going to work in your favor. I mean, you can tell, but when it doesn't work in your favor, it's not readily apparent, and it's very frustrating.
Yeah.
When you're just like, oh, well, I should be able to spin and then redirect myself towards that thing, just so that like, even though I'm on the same level as it, if I just shift over a little bit, I'll grab it. But I'm not allowed to.
Yeah.
Like, this game is fun to play when you have like a flat plane, but the second they introduce any kind of gravity, the controls themselves get confused.
Yeah.
And I get frustrated.
It's like they coded gravity, and there's like, yeah, it works in this spot. It's going to work in the rest of the game.
Mm-hmm.
And just set it and forget it. And it's like, man, like I know I texted you this. I'm like, I'm surprised that they didn't fix that in 3D All-Stars.
Dude.
And then I'm like, wait, it's Nintendo.
Dude, they couldn't
didn't.
even update the cutscenes. Those were Wii cutscenes at low resolution running at the end of the game. Did you notice that? I noticed that. No, those were not HD. Those were 480p MP4s that playing back on my screen.
So I played it in handheld, so 720p screen. That's not that big. So I didn't really notice it. I noticed that it was like the classic, what's it called? The bloom of that generation.
Yeah, the Wii bloom to hide
there.
No, but you could see low, like it wasn't, like they didn't redo, they just took the video file from the Wii version. I mean, it's all a port anyway.
I mean, that's
and they just went pop, and you could tell, like you could very much tell.
Yeah.
It was low resolution. The bloom looked really bad. When on the Wii, it looked fine because that was the native resolution it was rendering in. But like, man, and it's not even to say that like, oh, it has charm. It's like, no, there's no charm there. It just looks bad.
Yeah.
Like some older games with lesser graphics, it fits because they're timeless. And Mario can be one of those games sometimes, one of those franchises where older games can still look good because of art design and that kind of thing. And just the palette they choose to use can make it timeless. But this one, especially those last two cutscenes, or like the cutscene where they get to the center of the universe and Rosalina like does her anime, go into the center of the galaxy now, and Mario's running across.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is a Wii cutscene. This is very much a Wii cutscene.
I mean, to be fair, a lot of ports and remasters will just use the original MP4 or whatever for cutscenes, and like maybe they'll scale it up, or at least they'll stretch it to fit. Sometimes I would feel like Nintendo would have the original files for all that stuff, so they could just like export it in 1080p, but maybe they lost it. I don't know if it's really worth going back and redoing it just to have it in a couple more pixels. I don't know.
Well, I
didn't really notice it.
It was weird because the rest of the game, it looks fine.
Yeah.
And I don't know. They did it with the Twilight Princess and Wind Waker. Like the cutscenes in there are updated.
I mean, not to spoil part of the next podcast, but I feel like, I mean, the bloom is still very heavy in Twilight Princess.
Yeah, that's part of the charm, though.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
It's because Twilight's depressing, man. Twilight is depression.
It's the bloom, not the gloom.
It's both. Bloom and gloom.
Is it called gloom in this game too, or is that just the Tears of the Kingdom thing?
I think that's just Tears of the Kingdom.
Okay.
It's called Twilight. I don't know. I mean, it's not really like a huge critique. Like I'm like, oh my gosh, the game is ruined because they dared show me a Wii cutscene.
Yeah.
No, the game is ruined because the gravity doesn't work. I feel like this, or like to get back from this tangent, the gravity doesn't work. It's frustrating, and it doesn't work in your favor at times when you really feel like it should, and it doesn't feel fair.
let me tell you about. This is partially due to the gravity, but the other most frustrating level for me was in the Boo Mansion world, that galaxy, when you race. I don't know if it's King Boo or just a giant Boo, but
with the pole stars.
yes. Oh my god, that was the second hardest level for me because I don't know if it would have been better if I was like not on the touchscreen, but I was at my grandma's house for Thanksgiving when I played that, and so I didn't really have the option to put it on a TV. I guess I could have taken the Joy Cons off the rails, but like it just wouldn't register my finger when I needed it to be registered. I'm like, dude, I am touching the star and you're choosing not to connect me to it. So I'm going to get pulled back like way far away from where I need to be. And I could not tell you how many times I would finish the race a second behind Boo over and over and over again. I am 1 second behind him. Like I want to be done, but I don't like I'm too stubborn to just give up and move on, knowing full well there are way more stars out there that I could easily get. Like no. This is a stupid level
No, it becomes personal.
that I want to beat, and it's only because the game, the touchscreen won't recognize that I'm grabbing the next star. I think it has to do partially with the timing thing. Like, there's probably some limit, like when you can't just repeatedly hit spin. You probably have to wait a second until you can grab the star after grabbing another star. But then sometimes I felt like I was Spider-Man, just going star to star super fast. I was flowing, and then I would hit one section and be like, ah, no, you're not touching it. And you think you're touching it. That's another thing, because you're like, you have your thumb on it, and so part of your hand is covering where you are, so I can't tell if I've grabbed onto it or not. So I think I'm grabbed onto it, but my hand is blocking me, so I don't know that I've grabbed onto it until I see the entire screen going backwards in orbit.
Dude, yeah, handheld mode is not the way to be. I don't think there's a limit to when you can grab onto those stars, because that level I didn't have trouble with, and I was using the pointer, and I was flying.
Yeah.
Just pull. I will say, speaking about the pull stars, though, there are times in the game where they just kind of expect you to trust the pull stars to drop you into the correct gravity.
Yep.
And I would be like, okay, like I don't know that this is gonna work, so I'd hit the spin button, because I found out you didn't have to wait. You could hit spin,
and you break out of
and
it.
you'd break out of it, and it would just, because I was like, this just needs to be faster.
Yeah.
I don't like sitting here in anticipation that I'm gonna fall to my death, or like I want to know. I don't want to be stuck in Schrodinger's pole star.
Yeah.
Am I in the gravity? Am I not in the gravity? And then it expects you to trust it, but then it does stuff like that, like you're talking about, where sometimes it won't pull you, or you're like, you have momentum. So then instead of going to the star, you go around it, and then you hit one of the bombs like in that level.
Yep.
And then you're like, what are you talking about? That's not, I was nowhere, like I didn't have that kind of momentum to swing me around that way.
Yeah.
Why are you like this? And you're like, also, you're telling me I got to go fast. So now you're like, well, but don't go too fast, otherwise you'll bump into stuff.
Mm-hmm.
How did you do with the bubble level, where you had to blow the bubble with the pointer?
Blow the bubble.
That might have been, no, it wasn't a challenge world. That was in the regular galaxy. But it was like a 1-star thing. It was like a poison swamp. Captain Toad was there.
Oh.
You're in the bubble, and then you have to use the pointer to like move the bubble, which I thought actually was a good use of the pointer.
Yes. I think
I like that
did
level.
fine, but it's just one of those things where I had to take it slow because touchscreen didn't like my fingers apparently.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, it was fine. I think I wish I would have played it with the pointer. I even had a tough time deciding whether or not I wanted to play it on the Wii or on the Switch. And ultimately I picked the Switch just because I could play it portably.
Yeah.
A lot of these games, just so you guys at home know, I will play if I can I will play them while I'm editing the podcast because most of the editing is just listening to make sure I don't need to cut this or whatever. Like, oh, I need to change the angle here. Like,
Thanks, Autopod.
yeah, it's really easy with Autopod. I'm just correcting Autopod's mistakes, but I was playing Galaxy for the majority of just editing podcasts, and I wouldn't have been able to do that. I mean, I guess I could have done it with the Wii, but it would have been much harder to do. Yeah, I wish I would have played it on the Wii or in docked more. I don't know.
The Joy-Cons for the pointer were very, very well executed, well translated. It was very precise. Like, I mean, I'd have to hit the R button a few times just because, like, I would move my arm. That was really cool. Is I could actually have my arm completely sideways.
Yeah.
It's not like playing it on the Wii where it has to be pointed forward at all.
Yes.
Like, you got to look like you're playing like this, like you're serving somebody dinner. No, I could sit very comfortably and like move my wrist
Yeah.
to move the pointer around the screen, and that was very nice. It was very comfortable.
I think that is like the most underrated thing about the Joy-Con. There have been so many games where like before I had a Pro controller, I'm just sitting like this. Like I'm arms crossed playing a game.
Mm-hmm.
It's so comfortable. I can be under a blanket all snuggled up and no one would even know I'm playing a game until they looked at the TV.
Yeah.
Like it's man, like
So comfortable.
playing I think Let's Go Pikachu when I played that when it came out.
Oh, yeah.
Like that was perfect. Like you did have to swing to I think there was a button to throw the balls too, but it was so comfortable. I sometimes I want to not use the Pro controller just so I can chillax my arms.
Mm-hmm.
But I could not do that in handheld mode. One of my notes is literally just all caps 5 exclamation points. Captain Toad.
Is this where he comes from?
I believe so. I love Captain Toad. I cannot wait until we play Treasure Tracker for this podcast. It is one of my favorite games. I love that section in 3D World. It is just so good. I thought that he was from 3D World because I never really played this game. I owned it. I think maybe I just rented it when I was a kid, but I never got deep into it, and I probably didn't even know Captain Toad was a character. I probably just thought that he had a headlamp on and that was it. I love Captain Toad, and I'm kind of sad that there were no Captain Toad levels. It was just he was there sometimes to help you out. But I was so happy when I saw him.
Well, this was Captain Toad's first appearance.
Yeah.
So I don't think he was never going to have any levels because he's just a dude in this game. And then they were like, "Oh, he's popular.
Yeah.
Let's make him playable and stuff."
Yeah. I like Captain Toad a lot.
I do want to talk about power-ups.
Yeah.
Because it is a crime that the Fire Mario power-up, the Ice Mario power-up, and I think, is there another one? Are like time limited. Maybe it's just those two. They're like time limited things. And the section, like the Ice Mario one, Ice Mario, when you first encounter it on that ice galaxy, whatever, it's a planet, I don't know. And that also upsets me because then you like feed the Luma and it'll be like, oh, a new planet just appeared.
Yeah.
So I don't know what they're talking about. But anyway, Ice Mario first appears on that. No, it's actually earlier. It's when you have to do that parkour challenge with the little bird things that throw you up into the air. I don't know if you got.
Yeah, the Peach Beach bird guys.
Yeah. It's one of those like challenge galaxies.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Peach. So with the waterfalls, we have to do the wall jump with the Ice Mario power up, and you have to do it fast enough before the time runs out to get like up like 3 of them. Anyway, that was actually a really fun one.
I know there was a boss where you had to wall jump and you had to go around the water on ice.
Yeah, and like not get hit.
Yeah.
And whatnot. Which again, ice in a Mario game is just rough. Always been rough. It's not horrible, but still, it's like
I liked it.
Well, I feel like the momentum is just never consistent. I've
Yeah.
always felt that way. But then, you know, you can just jump and spin and it's not really a problem to stop
Yeah.
yourself.
I like ice in Mario games way better than water.
No, that's true.
But
I will give you that.
what I didn't like was the time limit on it, because they really didn't give you much leeway on time.
You get like 15, 20 seconds.
I don't know. I just know like the one part where you have to go loop around and then you go like way up in the air to get to that boss fight I was talking about.
Mm-hmm.
That like I barely got up there before the time limit was up.
Are you talking about where you have to like jump on the blocks that have faces that are coming out of the wall and you have to do that whole sequence with the ice block?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you have to land on the sprinklers that are
Yes.
That was tight.
Yeah.
And when
very tight window.
At one point I legit like jumped off the top on accident, like when I got to the boss fight, because I did the spin and then that momentum shoots you, just off in whatever direction.
Yeah.
Unexpectedly. In my opinion, I was not ready for it the first time it happened.
Yeah.
But yeah, that one was tight. I fell off.
Yeah.
And then I had to do it again, and I was like, this sucks.
Yeah, I remember.
It wasn't hard, but I was like, man, this is a long sequence. And
Yeah.
It's like,
I just want to talk about how stupid Luigi is for a moment. Because when you rescue him from the Boo Mansion, he pulls out the Power Star. And he's like, yeah, I found this when I was trapped here. And now, do you think this could be useful in any way? I don't know, to get us back to the observatory. Like, he couldn't just take himself back on the star. He couldn't use.
Did he know about the observatory?
Maybe not, but he couldn't. He's like, yeah, I saw this shiny star thing that we've only been collecting for the past 30 years. I don't know what to do with it.
What do I do with it?
Do you think this could be useful?
I don't know that Luigi is in the best care, because you hear the way he said, like, I'm sorry. Like, as I was like, what is about to happen to him? Is Mario just looking at him with just utter disappointment?
Yeah.
Or just like, I'm going to beat you up right now. How dare you? How dare you not be useful? I think Mario is an abusive brother. That's just me. Because I know Luigi's timid, and there was no way in hell that I was going to play that game again as Luigi.
No.
I'm sorry. Like, especially this run. I've done it before. I just didn't want to do it again.
Like, why? Why? Like, you're
You
playing
don't
the
want
exact same levels,
You
but
didn't
you
do
can jump higher.
You didn't do the 240 star run? Because it's literally
No.
the entire game again.
Again, it's 242.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, because you get 120 stars and then the extra star at the end before you reset the world.
It's like 64. Isn't that 120? 64 is the.
I think the last star is the 120. I don't know. I've barely played 64.
It's
64
okay. The
is bad.
No. Just no. Let's not do this this week. Let's not start this.
Man,
it's a good thing you're the editor.
Yeah. I'm gonna keep that in there. I don't like 64. I don't think it's as good as people say it is. I think it's a monumental game. It is a huge turning point. It is a nexus event in gaming, but it's just not that good as it's just like Ocarina of Time in like every N64 game ever. It could stand to be completely remade today. I'm going to just read this note I have right off my list.
Mm-hmm.
The way they show you how the bullet bill will chase after you and you need to guide it into the cage to blow it up immediately before the boss fight, that is peak gaming. Like, that is how you show your audience, your player, how the boss fight is going to work leading up to it without just blatantly telling them or saying, figure it out. Like, obviously with like Odyssey going back, I've played Odyssey so many times. Like I know bullet bills will chase after you like that. I think there are other games. I know at least in 2D games they'll chase after you, but that might have been the first 3D. That might have just been the first time bullet bills were in 3D. Was it in 64 Sunshine? I don't think so.
I don't think bullet bills were in 64. They might have been in Sunshine.
But I just I don't know, like it just tickled a part of my brain when I saw that. I was just like, this is what I think is the best way to explain a mechanic to an audience. Just like I'm going to have you do it on a smaller scale in the same level that you're gonna have to do on the bigger scale, or it could even be separated out by a level or two. But like just showing, not telling, but also actually giving them some sort of hint as to how to do it. Like that was my problem with Ocarina of Time, where it's just like, okay, figure it out. Just keep retrying until you get it. And my problem with some of the newer games, like Pokemon, we're gonna explain everything for the first hour or two of the game, and then you'll know everything, and we'll repeat it throughout the rest of the game, so you won't forget it. It's like, can't you just show and not tell, right?
I mean, I don't really have a ton on the bullet bills except that boss fight actually, as you reminded me of it, when the cage goes up the second time around the star. Or no, it's the cage and then the cage within. Like, it made me mad that the bullet bills would see you, but then they'd be like, well, no, they'd see you and then they would like go to attack you and then they just run into the ground.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why? What are we doing? Like, why? So what am I supposed to learn other than like I know the mechanic. Why is it not working? I really feel like this game excels in like the vibe. Like this game has great vibes. Like the galaxy, the music is fun. Like I like the kind of watercolor bloom Mario like aesthetic, but then the actual controls and like the way the game plays themselves
was that terrible.
Not terrible, but it just doesn't do the atmosphere justice.
Yeah.
Because you're like, oh man, like the idea of it's cool, like, oh, Mario running around in these little spheres.
Yeah.
And then you do it and you're like, please God, no more spheres.
Yeah.
Give me flat plains. Give me water instead of Mario running around in circles on the edge of a sphere and I get hit by something I clearly was trying to avoid because the game got confused.
Dude, the donuts, when you're on the little donuts instead of a sphere and you're trying to go to the other side of the donut and you're doing a circle going, that was rough.
I literally waited maybe 30 seconds. I was only holding forward. And it was one of those things where he did that exact same thing. He got confused and then just kept switching directions. Yep. I wanted to see if it would solve itself. No.
Nope.
I had to let go of the controller, let it reset to neutral, and then try to use my brain while I'm super confused, try to figure out
what's the game thinking right now.
What is the game deciding is forward and backward?
Yeah.
And then there were the ones where you'd like go behind and then you couldn't see Mario. Like the camera wouldn't turn.
Oh my God.
You just see a shadow.
Dude.
So it's like, whose idea was this? That then it does not follow him around like every other sphere in the game. There's that set of spheres where it just doesn't move around.
Yeah.
And then there's the other ones where it does, because that makes sense, even though that is still also frustrating.
What, like, I don't know how, if you could at all control the camera in the Wii game, because I can't think of anything that would have a second stick option.
No, it would be the D-pad on the Wiimote.
But like, why even bother with the camera control option when 90% of the time it just won't let you? Even if there's no wall near you, even if you're floating in space, it's just like, oh, not at this time. Little right stick with a red X. Sorry, bud.
Makes the stupid
like, why? Just give me the free camera.
But man, when you could move the camera around on those flat plane levels,
and then
this is so good.
And then it would stop you after an eighth of a turn. Man.
When
Loved
you
it.
couldn't do a full 180, you could do like
Yeah.
45 degrees.
I don't think there's a single point in this game where you can actually spin around 360.
There's a couple.
Okay.
There's a couple where you can, but you don't move the camera around continuously. You have to keep tapping it
Yeah.
to get, because it's like the
It's
old 64.
like in Nintendo 64 that came out 10 years before that game came out.
Oh man,
Yeah.
that's like a long time. But then when you really think about it, that's not that long.
No, but like this is the third 3D Mario game and we're still doing camera controls like we did on the N64.
Yeah.
Like I love Nintendo games, but most of my like gripes with them are the fact that they get so stuck in the past. They just don't like evolve with the times. Like man, I just think of a million different things that like, oh, this would be so much better if they just did it like how a PlayStation studio would do it.
It just put in perspective. I was talking to my wife about it because she played Galaxy before and she came in and was watching. She's like, "So what do you think?" And I just told her, I said, "This game is good, but it made me miss Super Mario Odyssey
Yes,
so much."
dude.
And she goes, and she hasn't played that one yet.
The very last note.
Yeah.
I just really miss Odyssey.
So that's the thing, is I was just sitting there like, wow. Like the movement and everything in Odyssey
perfect.
is perfect. I literally, if I had to rank the 3D Mario games right now, which I will, Odyssey,
Everything else.
I probably would put. I did like Galaxy 2, but I played that one as a kid, so we're gonna have to redo
Yep.
that to see if that maybe improves
Haven't
any
played
of the
it.
stuff.
I own it. That one I actually have not even started. I've never put it in my console.
Hey, why is it not in the 3D All Stars collection, Jake?
Probably because it wasn't that good of a game. I don't know.
It was like, it was another 10 out of 10 game.
Really?
10 out of 10 IGN, which doesn't really mean anything, but
Probably too much Galaxy.
too much space.
Yeah.
It's the same game over again. But probably Odyssey, of course. And then I think I'd put 64, then Sunshine, then the Galaxies, with Super Mario Galaxy 2 sitting in orbit, because I don't want to make a final decision on it.
Odyssey, Sunshine, Galaxy 64, and then the jury's out on Galaxy 2 until
Sunshine
they play it.
is good, but
Flood is just goated.
Flood is good. I don't like the setting of that game.
You don't like Delfino? Al Delfino?
The premise. No, I not like Isle Delfino itself. But the premise of that game literally relies on everyone being an idiot.
You don't want him to be on vacation? You don't want Mario to take a break?
No, I want everyone to realize, hey, that thing that we think is Mario looks literally nothing like him at all. Yeah. And I don't know how Mario didn't go, yeah, but that wasn't me, though.
It's an analogy for how stupid government is.
Okay. Well, yeah, okay. All right.
Yeah,
I still don't like it.
It's making fun of how bad bureaucracy is.
Here's the thing. That is true, and that is like reality, and that makes me sad. So actually, it's even worse.
Yeah.
So that's my rebuttal to that. That just makes me feel even worse about everything. So
that was a game I grew up with and never collected more than like 10 stars before.
It's a hard game.
I restarted.
It's a hard game.
Yeah. Oh, dude, especially for like how young I was when I had it, because I think I got on. I don't think I know. I got it at a pawn shop when because me and my dad and my sister would go to this pawn shop downtown. And I don't know if like my dad knew the people who owned it or what, but
your dad had a mission at that pawn shop.
We got so many games there. I wish it was still there because it would be so cool to see what I could find. Probably nothing there anymore. but like I got Super Mario Land, I got Animal Crossing, Sunshine, and like everything was like $10. And it was still like while the GameCube was like the console, I got
Mm-hmm.
Sunshine and Animal Crossing for $10. Like, did they really sell that well? No, it's the GameCube, so I don't know why everything was so cheap. But I was also like 7 then, so I probably didn't really know. To me, $10 was probably pretty expensive.
Yeah, as a kid, when you get like maybe $1 every couple days
Yeah.
for you find one on the street, you're like, hey, I got a. Remember, you thought when you got $1 and you thought you were rich.
Dude, I was a millionaire when I collected all 50 states in the quarters, dude.
Oh my gosh.
Did you do that?
No,
You didn't do that?
because that's no
Yeah.
rampant ADHD could not have done that.
But
That is impressive.
Yeah. I think I finished it all. And then I don't know what we did with it after that. I probably just put the coins in
put them in a book, closed it, and put it away.
No, I probably just took the coins to the bank and got cash and bought something.
50 coins.
Yeah.
How much
50
is that?
quarters. It's probably like, I don't know why 1350 is just in my head right now. I don't know if that's accurate. I'm not going to do the math. I'm just going to hope that's right. Someone tell me in the comments.
I'll tell you right now.
Okay.
But also,
Because
please
this
tell us in
4
the
quarters
comments.
is $1, so 50 divided by 4 that would be 1250. Dang. Well, I think there was also one for like DC, so that would be another 25 cents.
$12.75.
Yeah. I don't know.
You could have bought Mario, Sunshine, and Animal Crossing.
There might have been a Puerto Rico one, make it even 13.
Does Puerto Rico have a quarter?
I think so. I think when I was collecting them, I think that's when they like made a Puerto Rico, because I think every U.S. territory has one. Oh yeah, because there was a Guam one too. I think 1350 is sticking out in my head because that was how many quarters it was when I finished. Yeah.
There's a 2009 District of Columbia and U.S. Territories Quarters Program.
Yeah.
Look at that. From the United States Mint.gov. Coins. Which, again, there's not really a lot of that you're able to collect in Mario Galaxy. Man, that was such a good segue.
Yeah.
I'm proud of that one. But yeah, I always ended a level with like 5 coins collected. And I'm like...
There were some where you just got like a ton of coins, like especially early on.
In the water.
And then it was just like, here's 3.
Here's 3. High score, 3.
Yeah.
Like, okay, well, you didn't really... I know if you collect 50 coins, you get a 1-up, like 50 star bits.
Yep.
And I did that, I think, once.
Oh, I got a lot of star bits for 1-ups.
Oh, yeah.
The last level, which... Sorry, did you want to say more on that?
I was just gonna say I always had enough star bits to feed the Lumas.
Yeah.
Because I knew that from growing up. So I was like, I'm gonna make sure they're all fed. No Luma goes hungry.
But the last level was really good. I think that was probably the best level. I had one point where I was just struggling with the game. It was when you were the disappearing platforms. Mm-hmm. You had to wall jump because I was also trying to get the 1-up. If I saw a 1-up mushroom, I was going for it.
Yeah.
And I would always get caught on the wall to go into the next part, and I would have to slide down. I'm like, just get off the wall, Mario. Like, let me drop so I can go before the floor disappears. And I just kept dying there.
I solved that because I had the same problem.
Mm-hmm.
What I did was, because that only happened to me was when you started on the right wall.
Mm-hmm.
I just was like, I just need to start on the opposite wall, and then I will end up where I need to be. Which is, it worked out. I got the 1-up, and I didn't die. Yeah. Those fire pillars, though, at the top, man, they really pushed the timing.
Yeah. Dude,
Holy
that was...
crap.
I think I got through one time unscathed at the end of the disappearing platforms. Mm-hmm. And then the rest of it was good. It was difficult, but not like stupid difficult. It wasn't arbitrarily difficult. It was solid. I also liked the lava part where the platforms were coming in and out of the lava, and I could just do the leap forward, the long jump.
Oh,
that was so satisfying.
Long jump is goated in 3D Mario games.
Yeah, and
saves so much time.
I would always forget when I'd pick it up again. I'm like, oh yeah, I can do that. And then I would just do it pretty much nonstop. And then it was like that last level was so good, but then every time you fight Bowser throughout the entire game is exactly the same. And I was just like, okay, this is boring for the 8th time.
What are you talking about?
Wait for him to get ready to ground pound and make sure you're on the right spot so he burns his butt on the ground pound, and then you spin, and then you spin, and then you spin. And it, which oddly I think happened 4 times. I think it was a rule of 4 this time.
I do want to point out I did enjoy this game, but I really just felt like it wasn't like middle of the road. Like it was a good game. There were just things about it that I think held it back from being truly exceptional, and I don't think it lived up to the hype that people have given it all these years. And it definitely was still frustrating for the same reasons it was frustrating when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Like it still was one of those games where it just didn't seem like things were implemented properly, and in a way that felt fair. Like sometimes things happened, and I know no game is perfect, but there were several times where it really just didn't seem like I had any way to stop myself from dying or getting hit or like missing a jump or something, because whether it be gravity or the way you have to do the pointer, it's working against me. Okay? But yeah, it just, I don't know, it felt unfair at times, and that really hampered my experience.
Yeah, it's like I love Scott the Woz, but I think this is like one of his favorite games of all time, and I don't get it. Other than like I love space. Space is cool. And so like the theme is really cool. And I mean, like, take away gravity from this game and it's so much better.
Take away the donuts.
Just like if they would have, for 3D All Stars, taken a moment, mess around with the code to figure out gravity, even if you like had to just change gravity for certain galaxies, for certain parts of certain galaxies, I don't know, like just make it so you don't endlessly spin in a circle, or you don't go back and forth, or any of the dumb things that happen. There's some points where even the black holes I think are just like too strong, but maybe those are in the challenge portions, and that's fine. Like the controls are so bad, and the rules of like the world are just ruining the experience for me. One of my last notes is I don't know if I'll ever play this game again, other than when we inevitably play Galaxy 2. So it's like, yeah. And Lord knows that Galaxy 2 is going to have the same problems as Galaxy 1. Because if they fixed the gravity in Galaxy 2, I feel like they would have implemented that in 3D All Stars.
But see, that's where I'm like, man, they couldn't even update the cutscenes. No way they're going to mess with the gravity.
Yeah.
Because Nintendo obviously just thinks that they wrote a banger, they made a banger, so they're just like, let it cook. It's like, well, it probably needed to cook for a little bit longer.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's not like it...
It's a good game.
It's still a really good game, and it's fun when everything works.
It shoots itself in the foot.
Exactly. And I think the mechanics and the controls betray how good the level design and atmosphere are.
Yeah.
I think that's the most succinct way I can actually put how I feel.
They nailed a lot of stuff. They did so many cool concepts. They just they shot themselves in the foot with the basic stuff of gravity. And like this is another thing that's me that I just personally had a struggle with. I have terrible depth perception. I don't know why.
Yeah, this game doesn't make it easy.
In real life, and especially in video games, when I'm looking at a screen that, even though it's 3-dimensional, it's like it still is 2D for us because we're looking at a flat screen. It's just like I struggle And there were a lot of points where just my depth perception hindered my ability to play the game properly. But yeah, like it's a good game. I put it above a lot of Mario games in general. I want to play Super Mario 64 just to see if the bad mechanics of that game are worse than the bad mechanics of this game.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It has not aged well. It in some way. It is the most it is the toughest game to express how I feel
Yeah,
about
because
it.
I'm so torn.
I want to like it. I
I
think that's the best way to describe it. I want
I
to like it.
really want it to be better than it is. But there's just things I can't get over.
Yeah. Two quick things that there's the last two notes that I haven't touched on. One, how is Peach able to send Mario 5 1-up mushrooms in the mail?
Because she's a real G.
And like why is Bowser allowing this? Does he just not know? What mailman is going
Mail
to the
toad.
floating castle in the space?
So listen, let's break it down this way. All right. What you got to realize is Bowser's not completely horrible.
Yeah.
He wants her to like him.
Mm-hmm.
So she's like, hey, can I send some mail? Like I got some stuff I got to take care of. I am the ruler of a kingdom after all. He's like, yeah, go for it.
Yeah.
I just think he's being nice. He just wants her to like her.
But how do 5 3-dimensional mushrooms fit into an envelope?
Well, you see, they're magic mushrooms. And this is all one bad trip.
And then I just really liked the Gusty Garden Galaxy. I think that was the best galaxy, but I also really hated the mole boss because
Ooh,
I
yeah.
struggled to hit him. And that was probably just user error.
But that was the spin delay. That's what I was thinking about. Because I wouldn't be close enough, or like you'd accidentally hit one of his little rock trails instead.
Mm-hmm.
And then you'd be like, oh crap, I gotta like run through and hit him now. And then you'd get hit because you were too close.
Yep.
When he reset.
And it's just like
Did you do the Daredevil run of that?
No.
Where you had one? I did. I got that star. That was nuts.
I was just like, not gonna happen. But like the world itself, I liked it. I just didn't like the mole. And it's like going back to what I said earlier, the bullet bill setup was perfect, and they didn't do it here for the mole guy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess this boss fight set you up later to attack a different mole, but all I have to say is I really miss Super Mario Odyssey.
Yeah.
To bring it back to that amazing game, top 5 or top 10 games of all time for me.
It's a really good